All right, let's bring up to date on what's happening on our sister shows. America's Forum, that comes right before us from 9 a.m. until noon Eastern Time every day, Monday through Friday, and the Steve Malzberg Show that follows us from 3 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday. A column that is getting a tremendous amount of attention. Chris Ruddy, the CEO of Newsmax Media, joined America's Forum this morning. His latest column on Newsmax.com, where he says President Obama's border security bill could be a good fix with a few adjustments.
It is unusual for me to endorse an Obama bill. And I'm not endorsing everything about the bill, but basically the premise is a really good one. John, in his setup to the segment, talked about the fact that we have this massive children's crisis, and both Senator Cornyn and Congressman Cuellar in Texas, they're trying to push for the allowance of the administration to massively deport these children back to the countries and the families from whence they came. That is the Obama bill. Obama is pushing for that in his bill. He does want to deport these folks. Now, I agree with you. The price tag, almost $4 billion, is excessive. And I say in my article, Congress needs to cut that down. $400 million is being put for new border agents, new judges, and speeding up the deportations. So Obama wants to change that William Wilberforce human trafficking laws so that children don't have an exemption. So that is really good. The Republicans should pat him on the back for that.
Make sure that you read Chris Ruddy's column entitled Embrace Obama's Border Security Bill right there on Newsmax.com. As we said, it is getting a tremendous amount of attention. A lot of people around the country and around the world are reading it right now because, frankly, immigration is the issue right now that has America gripped, whether you like it or not. It doesn't make a difference where you live. We have talked to people from Tennessee, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Oregon, California, every place imaginable, and it is still capturing the attention of America right now as to what is happening and what needs to be done. On the Steve Malzberg Show yesterday, Brian Zimmer, the president of the Coalition for a Secure Driver's License, said that despite certain political and business oppositions, the Secretary of Homeland Security could have that fence built.
There have been many business and political reasons not to build fences on our borders. So when Representative Duncan Hunter first proposed a fence, substantive fence for this California border, it was met with a great deal of opposition, ridicule, etc. So fortunately, an earlier bill passed in 2005, the Real ID Act, created the option for the Secretary of Homeland Security to override environmental and lawsuit type oppositions. Although it didn't prescribe a fence, it simply said if the Secretary needs to build a fence, where he needs to build it or she needs to build it, they have the legal authority.
Yeah. It is one of the stories that we are following every single day on the Newsmax TV network because it is indeed still gripping America. 9 a.m. until noon, America's Forum with J.D. Hayworth every Monday through Friday. And then again, we join you from MidPoint from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time right here. And then the Steve Malzberg Show comes up every day 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Newsmax TV network. Take a break right now for a moment and let us sit back and revel in this American moment.
It was called the War to End All Wars, but instead it only served as a prelude of worse things to come. It was the world's first universal war, with the nations of the United States, United Kingdom, France, Greece, Italy, Russia, and 19 other countries declaring war on Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, Germany, the Ottoman Empire, and the other European-based nations. As the wars before it, and those after it, this war would prove to be a long, bloody, and costly conflict. For the first time, chemical weapons were used in organized warfare. In 1915, the Germans unleashed 150 tons of chlorine gas at Ypres, Belgium. Then 2 years later, used mustard gas against the Russians at Riga. World War I also gave birth to a new form of battle called trench warfare. Opposing armies would build elaborate trenches opposite one another, protected by barbed wire. The trenches themselves became havens for disease and life-threatening infections due to poor drainage and sanitation. The area between the opposing armies became known as no man's land, because it was fully exposed to artillery and small arms fire from both armies. Attacks, even if successful, often sustained severe casualties for both sides. So when it finally came to an end, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, soldiers from both sides greeted the news with great skepticism. Neither side dared to let themselves believe their long nightmare had finally come to an end, leaving an estimated 8.5 million people dead and some 21 million wounded. The actual peace document, known as the Treaty of Versailles, was not signed until 6 months later, on the 28th of June, 1919. Although the face of the civilized world had forever changed, 21 short years later, history would again repeat itself. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis, and this is an American Moment.